So in Audio Fundamentals, we learnt a lot about sound and the principles of sound and its properties. So how sound behaves differently in different environments and what variables affect it. We learnt about sound in digital domains, so how sound looks in a digital profile and waveforms, how they look, how they appear. And we learnt about essential equipment, so when you're handling sound, you would use loudspeakers, and we learnt about what goes into making a loudspeaker, the different components of it. We learnt about microphones, the different kind of microphones that there are, polarity patterns, what you would use them for. And then we looked at the studio. So we learnt about how the studio is laid out. We got familiar with the studio layout and we learnt why it's laid out in that way. And that kind of prepared us for next semester if we're going to be taking a practical module that's really useful. So the highlights of the module for me were how interactive it was. There was a very equal balance of music theory and practical, and that's a very fun way of learning, and it helps the information to sink in much better. So there were various experiments that we did. For example, we recorded our own audio using various microphones in different settings. We made our own loudspeaker, and these experiments helped us to put the theory that we learnt into practice. And I think that just gives you such a greater understanding of the information that you're learning. And it doesn't give you an overload of information, it helps you to learn it and then just lets it sink in. And there was a show and tell portion of some of the lectures, so we had a theremin brought in, we had a synthesizer brought in, and it wasn't just us looking at these, we got to play around with them, see how they worked, and that also allowed us to understand them better. There was also presentations that we had to do, so each week there's a topic and we had to do a fact sheet or a presentation and we had to feed that back to the class. And I think that was really useful because when you're teaching somebody else about something, it helps you to learn it better. And it gave us a greater independence because for that portion of the lecture we were running it essentially, and it just feels like you're talking to your friends about something that you're interested in. So that was really nice to be able to do that. And all in all, just the freedom that you get in this module, it makes it so much more fun. So, it's such a comfortable environment and it doesn't feel like there's info being thrown at you for 2 hours straight. It just feels like you're having a conversation in a classroom. It's very interactive, it's very relaxed, and it helps you to understand the information better and you can ask questions and none of it feels intimidating, and I think those were the highlights for me.